Okay, everybody. That's it for today. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I don't have anything for that. Yeah, I got an hour class tomorrow, so that's all for today.
Dad look retarded right
I
now.
don't have anything else for us today. All right, that's it. See you guys.
Agree with what they're saying, and mind you, I do think this is true of the left. I think it's more common on the left than the. I think it's common on both sides, because I don't think a whole lot of people realize what it is that they're saying or doing, and they're honestly just some of the dumbest people out there just trying to get clicks and views. I do think that. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's one side's doing it more than the other. But effing Lala was a right-wing grifter until she needed to have the correct opinion. I don't know this. I never even heard of her. That was a joke. Oh, that was a joke. I mean, probably could be true.
It's a awful cesspool of bootlicking and bullshit, but
how is it bootlicking? Their government is in charge. The people that they have voted for are in charge. A lot of them are still pissed off.
Get into it.
Not going far enough.
Nice.
That doesn't necessarily. If it's them in charge and the government is doing what it is that they wanted them to do, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are bootlicking at that period of time. What it means is that they agree with the government's doing and they want to keep doing it. That's not bootlicking. Bootlicking is when you're just doing what the government tells you to do. What the government is doing for us on the behalf of us, that is not bootlicking. Or I hate this dude and want to react to a video. I don't do react content. I don't normally do react content either, but Static demanded me to do this. I hate the bootlicking commentary. I find it to be the dumbest thing out there because let's be real fair here. The conservatives aren't the ones fighting the government right now because it's their government in charge. They might be criticizing the government because they don't think it's going far enough, but they're not the ones out there getting I'm not gonna say that word. They're not the ones getting, a fighting and then getting ganked. That's not them. They're not licking the boot. They're the one that had the boot on.
It pays the bills, I guess. So literally just today, I made the mistake of thinking to myself, what's going on in the right-wing VTuber grifter sphere? And I went ahead and looked and was immediately made angry by how...
Are you fucking serious? You were made angry by this? I'm angry that this blew up the way it is. It was a nothing burger. This was a nonsense situation. You're making a big deal out of this? Miss Lala, fuck ice. Rev, LARP says a 1950s VTuber hates current federal agency that is more tame than any law enforcement agency on the time period included in her LARP. Locks replies, all you want. I think you are fully aware of your hypocrisy, baseless virtue signaling. This is what made you pissed off enough to make this fucking video? God damn, you're an idiot. Oh my God. Two people disagree. It's a nothing burger. Get over your shit. Holy fuck. Oh God.
Stupid this current drama is.
Yes, I agree. It is stupid. It shouldn't have been a drama to begin with, but people like Lala and all the other people freaked the fuck out over it.
I'm gonna sit here and cover this entire play-by-play. A lot of it's very stupid, but just as a quick overview, Miss Lala is a VTuber, has kind of like a 1950s kind of diner aesthetic to her model and her stream, and she tweets out "fuck ice," which of course based good opinion.
No, disagree. You can disagree. It's okay to disagree. I somehow knew this was where he was gonna go. That's why I made the joke. Oh God. Oh God. This is just blatant virtue signaling. Fuck ice. She's not a political content creator. She doesn't do politics. She stepped into the political scene. She's gonna get clapback and cried over the fucking clapback. Hey, guess what? Demi did the same thing today. I like Demi's tweet a little bit more than I do like Lala's tweet because Demi at least was clever about it. Same when Camila got involved with the whole drama and said, fuck ice. Guess what? They were clever about it. Both of them. I saw Demi's tweet. Her thing was, fuck ice. Slipped and ripped my jeans. Camila, fuck ice in my water. Both of which are perfectly fine. I know what they're saying. Everybody knows what they're saying, but they're doing it in clever ways. So I'm like, you know what? I like it. This is just blatant virtue signaling. It's bullshit. You're gonna get clapback as a non-political content creator. Get used to it. LMAO, I'm sorry you crashing out is kind of funny. LOL, I do agree with you though. This was a nothing burger. Yeah, I'm gonna be crashing out probably a lot because if you're already freaking out over this fucking post, I'm already over this shit.
Everybody agrees with this based opinion. If you don't agree with this...
No, not everybody agrees with this. In fact, the majority of Americans don't agree with this. If you actually look at polling data, 80% of Americans like mass deportation and like what ICE is doing. So saying everybody agrees with this is already a fallacy and is blatantly wrong, you fucking idiot.
Fuck you. That gets quote retweeted by...
Wait, what did he say? He said, fuck me. Sorry.
Stream and she tweets out fuck ice, which of course based good opinion. Everybody agrees with this based opinion. If you don't agree with this, fuck you.
Okay, well fuck you too. Suck my fat one. I mean, you have the VTuber style that you probably would like to bob a knob, but okay.
Gets quote retweeted by Rev, who is one of these just like Gamergate right-wing grifter VTubers.
Oh my god, do you ever think that maybe he actually believes what he has to say? In order to be a grifter, you have to not believe what it is that you say and not believe what it is that you do? I'm so sick and tired of this fucking right-wing grifter that immediately assumes that everybody agrees with you. I don't believe that everybody agrees with me. Just get over your shit.
It's generally just like kind of a like hateable human being from everything I've ever seen of him. And
so you don't even know who he is. You don't even know who he is, and you already have your opinion made of him. Just a hateable human being of everything I've seen about him. So you don't know who he is. You've never seen his content, and you already hate him because I guess the mass media has told you to hate him. Clever.
Accuses her of being a hypocrite because she's a 1950s aesthetic VTuber and she hates the current federal agency that's more tame than any law enforcement agency of the time period included in her LARP. And then criticizes her for locking reply.
Yeah, because if you lock replies, you're immediately going to get criticized on the internet. Are you fucking insane? I think she is being hypocritical with her aesthetic. I do think that is kind of stupid of her to do that. And let's be fair here, in the 1950s, they were being very awful to a certain demographic of people. This video is making me feel rage. I haven't made a video for a fucking year because of work, and I just want to yell at this dude. Oh, dude, I'm now seeing why Static is telling me to do this. By the way, I'm almost out of beer.
So, like, first off, this is not hypocrisy. This is an incredibly stupid point that makes zero sense. Somebody deciding they want to use a 1950s aesthetic for the VTuber does not require that they agree with 1950s politics.
I mean, that is fair. That is fair. Hey, point you. Still, at the same time, 1950s had very, 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 very awful politics going on for a certain demographic, but this is their months right now, so... I don't
understand where this is coming from. The whole drama kind of spirals into something stupid in the first place, but this being the starting point is so incredibly dumb.
Why do so many Muslims marry their cousins? I have to admit that despite being to the Mideast a few times, I really had no idea about this until I recently read a statistic that said 55% of British Pakistanis marry their first cousins. As a Westerner, it's a baffling concept that at first I didn't believe. But when I researched it, I found out that hundreds of millions of people, mostly in Muslim countries, are married to their cousins. In a number of countries, it's the majority of all marriages. So this is what I do here at Elephants in Rooms. Take a question that makes some people raise their eyebrows, research it, and give you a straightforward and fair answer. And it's never about nya, 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 because the people on this planet are fascinating animals. Here, we'll first look at the global picture. Where is it legal or banned or popular? Then we'll answer the question, why not marry your cousin? Looking at stigma and health reasons. I flip it around and then get into the question of why people do it, with a focus on Pakistan, and then talk about what caused the split of Islam versus the world, because there's a clear correlation with some twists. And finally, we'll take a quick look at how it really reshaped societies. Okay, so first of all, from a legal perspective, most countries don't ban marrying your cousin outright. The blue areas on this chart show that. So China does, South Korea and the Philippines, some countries in the Balkans, and a few others. The United States, it has a patchwork of laws. Legal in 18 states, restricted in a handful, and banned in the rest. Actually, 8 states criminalize marrying your first cousin instead of just denying a marriage license. And that's something that I couldn't find in any other country in the world. But even in states and non-Muslim countries where it's fully legal, it's exceedingly rare in practice. In the United States, they estimate about 2 out of 1,000 marriages are among first cousins. It's very rare in Europe, Asia, South America, and really any country without a large Muslim presence, with the exception of a few pockets in Hindu South India, which sees rates over 25%. So where is it popular? On a map, it's easy to see what they call the cousin marriage belt. It runs from Morocco through Pakistan, a nearly perfect overlap with Muslim-majority countries. Pakistan leads the bunch. About 2/3 of marriages are between blood relatives, usually first cousins. Across the Mideast and North Africa, 20 to 50% of all marriages involve cousins. The overall numbers are hard to pin down precisely, but there are at least 500 million people married to their first cousin. Closer to 1 billion when you include second cousins as well. But it's important to note that there's not a uniformity here, with some Muslim countries having substantially lower rates. Bangladesh is 90% Muslim, but cousin marriage rate sits at around 17%. Indonesia has the world's largest Muslim population, and their cousin marriage rates are about the same. Turkey, about 25% and falling. The rate of India's Muslims is 32%, which is many times higher than non-Muslim societies, but half the Pakistani rate, despite living right next door and sharing the same religion. You also see lower numbers among Muslims born in Western countries. For instance, British Pakistanis born in the UK see rates drop by over half when they grew up in that different culture. So, what's so bad about marrying your cousin? Let's take a look at the stigma and the health issues. But first, let's spend a moment on something that I think about constantly: how news gets reported. Now, I worked in newsrooms for 2 decades, and I watched it turn from kind of biased to, you gotta be kidding me. Today's sponsor, Ground News, is an antidote to that. They gather news coverage from over 50,000 sources and show you who's reporting on a story, how they're leaning, and just as critically, who's not reporting it at all. You can see funding, ownership, bias ratings, the whole picture. You can check it out at ground.news/elephants. The feature I rely on the most, they call it Blind Spot. It shows stories that are getting tons of coverage on one side of the political aisle and virtually none on the other. Here's a recent example. A convicted, repeat felon in Chicago was charged with assaulting a pregnant woman while he was out on the city's electronic monitoring program. 100% of the coverage of that story was on the right, with absolutely no left-leaning sources reporting it. On the other hand, a story about how British Prime Minister Starmer came out in support of Denmark while the Trump administration is talking about wanting to take over Greenland was mostly reported by left-leaning media. Just 17% of the coverage was on the right. This is the problem. If you're only consuming news from one side, you're not just missing context, you're sometimes missing entire stories. Ground News helps you break out of that bubble, and honestly, I check it out every day. I'm on the Vantage plan. If you want to try it out, use my links in the description, ground.news/elephants, and you'll get 40% off. Or just scan the QR code on your screen. Also, supporting sponsors like this keeps this channel going. So thanks. Okay, so now back to the dating game. Let's talk about those cultures where it's not common and look at the question, why not marry your cousin? There are health issues to discuss, but in the West, marrying your cousin just feels wrong. It's a weaker version of the taboo against incest, but the gut reaction is immediate for most people, even if they can't quite articulate why. Part of it is familiarity. Cousins are family, and family just isn't supposed to be romantic. Cousins show up at family reunions, Christmas dinners, backyard barbecues. Potential partner and family, those just don't overlap in most of the world. Western individualism also emphasizes the whole concept of building a life with someone you choose. That's the opposite of someone your family tree gave you. And then there's a class dimension too. Cousin marriage seems backwards and uneducated in Western cultures. The hillbilly, or the inbreeding stereotypes, they have a real social stigma. The bottom line is that our culture has spent 1,500 years...
He's right to ask us to help with this incident. But if that journalist is as annoying as he claims, we'll need to give you a suitable assistant. I'll give her a call and tell her to rendezvous with you directly.
A wayward fallen one roams nearby. My staff shall grieve for them.
Какой-то ебуч ходил, убивался дверь, как не хочется к нему идти, он какой-то абьюзивный. Абьюзер.
Tweety Bomb, stay frosty and no slacking.
Никому ничего не говорить и просто ему ебло. Ну, типа, сбежать, короче, слушать и все. И вот это вот привет. Новенькая, вот и новенькая. Вместе. Можно сказать, у нас самое. Зачем, в принципе, с ним общаться? Новую ебаную. Ой, то есть новенькая. Алло. Спокойной ночи, тушенка. На безработную надо забыть просто. По безработному. А можно просто на выход пойти и все. Я как-то... Гештальт будет закончен, что сказать. Что делать? Что пропан какой-то вообще. Мне как-то... Когда мне было 6 лет, мне на Новый год Дед Мороз подарил будильник, потому что в 7 лет идти в школу и просыпаться. Продуманный такой подарок у Деда Мороза, короче. И там он такой, он не знаю, какой такой противный был, он такой механический будильник причем. О, нихуя, уютненько. И там такой, короче, маленький был тигренок какой-то, который так такой трутун-тун-тутун-тутун-тутун-тутун-тун. Wake up, тун-трун-тун-трун-тун-тун-тун-тун-тун-тун-тун-тун. Wake up. И такой еще свист такой был. Вот это прям. Система пожаротушения охуенно не работает. Охуенно не работает. Братан, помоги. Выйти через кухню? Спасибо, а где кухня? Мама, что ли? Нельзя. На кухне, как говорится, кукинг-стрим не удался. Зашел слишком далеко. Какой туман. Какой туман. А. Чё, пишешь мне, да? Ладно. Нет еще поводов венцо пить. Лежит, ждет, настаивает, так сказать. Балдеет потихонечку. Рим просто. Сказали с тем пожаротушением. И ёпта, блядь. Вода отсюда, блядь, вот это уже репетативность, это, конечно... Блядь, курс долгожитель, блядь. Прикольный доктор, блядь, слился буквально, ну, за пару минут. А пуш долгожитель. Почему все хорошо? Ну. Илюва, спасибо за твою подписку и давление не отворотилось. Если не здравствовались. Подписано 5 месяцев. Короче, теперь по этим коридорам бегать от тут же. Типа не 5 снова. Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Ты реально здесь будешь стоять, что ли? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Что говоришь? Заебал, блядь, уже. Он, блядь, и там, и здесь. Он вечный, блядь. Он один, блядь, на всю игру, считай, вот может быть, на самом деле. Вот заменить его, блядь, этого доктора, блядь, на этого вообще ничего поменяться не может. То есть он шотает еще. Блядь. Куда бежать, я не помню. Разверни меня эту дивальную в нужную сторону. Отпустите меня. Расписание стримов нет. Надо по зову сердца их ощущать. Потихонечку. Выходные. Я, правда, не знаю, какие. Что-то придумается. С проснутием. Да, и тушенка, и мокап, они все уходили спать. Сейчас обратно. Поспали 3 минуты, короче, и поднялись. Но вообще-то в Телеграме анонсы есть, очень даже. Даже за день, даже за 2 бывает. Редкое явление, но бывает же. Такая разве что-то не как было, так не меняется. Ну, в Дискорде в том числе. В Дискорде вообще или вам ставить. Джон тут холод. Он ушел. Расписание для фигня слабо, короче. Вот этих вот бизнес, овес не какие-то ебучие два шлюза набрать в них воду, чтобы потом только включить систему жертвушения. Ночь, блядь, такое. Допустим, ванны. В ваннах точно должны быть водичка должна быть. Банщик, человек такой чисто. Сюда же лучше не заявится. Теперь как-то надо второй найти. Ну, в принципе, геймплей особо не меняется. Мистер Пушкин. Он может пролезть? Мне кажется, на ему наползательно это вообще. Вверх наглости, я бы сказала. Вот он, пельмень. Чисто 10 часов просто съемки этого чувака. И сколько там на этой на камере? 30 минут. Вот эти все съемки. Я хз сколько там. До конца, не до конца. Шо там, блядь, дрыгается опять? Лягушечки. Сука.
Conditioning us to see marrying your cousin is wrong. So even without understanding the history or the science, we've internalized the taboo. It's written into our cultural DNA. But there are also real health reasons behind that instinct. Birth defects double in first cousin marriages, from roughly 2 to 3% to 4 to 6%. That means the vast majority of children are born healthy, but the ones who aren't, they're often severely damaged. And while single-generation cousin marriage carries a moderate risk, when it repeats across generations, the danger multiplies. If your parents were cousins and you marry your cousins, rare genetic diseases can jump 10 to 20 times higher in the general population. Recessive genes that may stay hidden for generations, they show themselves in the same limited gene. Infant mortality overall is higher, and there's a spike in conditions like congenital heart failure, neural tooth defects, intellectual problems. The city of Bradford, England, shows the effect in stark numbers. British Pakistani children comprise 3% of births overall, but 30% of children born with genetic disorders. Again, most families are fine, but a minority can face devastating outcomes. So here's some context to think about, because it gives this whole issue a little bit more nuance. Smoking during pregnancy, that shows a considerably higher correlation with birth defects than marrying your first cousin. Alcohol use, that's even worse. Now, those things carry a social stigma in the for most parts of society. But government surveys in the United States show almost 5% of expecting mothers smoke during their pregnancy. 14% reported drinking, with a third of those reporting binge drinking. Or you can look at children born to women over the age of 40. They face similar risks, but nobody's talking about them. So the health reasons against having children with your cousin are real, but the reaction against the practice is way deeper than just health. Okay, so now let's flip the question and look at the reasons why. I mean, hundreds of millions of people don't marry their first cousin without rational reasons to do so. And what I discovered is that it's not really their religion we know to them, but cultural factors that support their economic and social structure. And some of it offers advantages for brides and their husbands. I mentioned Pakistan's high so let's focus on that as a case study. Its social structure is often described as intensive kinship. Families and extended clans make up the core of social life and support systems, especially in rural areas. Your relatives are your bankers, business partners, and safety nets. Marrying within the family strengthens those ties. In a cousin marriage, it's not just seen as a union of two people, it's essentially a contract between two branches of the same family. Clan strength, that depends on size, cohesion, and concentrated wealth. Marry outside the clan and you fragment them. You're now doing favors for your wife's relatives instead of building your own power base. Another thing, Pakistan is a heavily agrarian society, and for farmers, land is everything. And Pakistani inheritance law divides the land among all sons. A 10-acre farm split 4 ways might become 4 barely sustainable plots. But marry your cousin, those plots recombine in the next generation and automatically solve that fragmentation problem. A bride's dowry price also runs about half the cost when you marry a cousin versus an outsider. And then, the money stays in the extended family's pocket instead of going to strangers. All of this helps middle-class families stay that. Wealthy families, they marry cousins to keep fortunes consolidated. For example, the Sharif family, Pakistan's political dynasty, they practice cousin marriage for generations, keeping their business and their political empire tightly controlled. And poor families, some marry cousins because they literally can't afford the bride price for outsiders. So the system works at every economic level, just for different reasons. There are also a number of advantages that families say they see in cousin marriages, especially for their daughters. One is that it keeps the family closer together geographically. A young woman isn't marrying someone far away where you might only see her on holidays. She stays nearby. Another is familiarity. The couple and families know each other and share similar values. The concept of, we know the boy and his family because they're our relatives, that's more comforting than bringing in a stranger where everything's unknown. There's also an implicit trust that a cousin might be less likely to mistreat his wife, since he'd bring shame on the entire family, and that the family could intervene if a problem arises. Now, that might have an element of truth to it, but when I try to look into the domestic violence data,
I don't know how to thank you. I thought we were all good to die here.
Things would have ended horribly for us if it wasn't for you. You saved us all.
It's what we do. Are you all right? Is anyone hurt?
Everyone's all right. The glowing branches saved us. All the stories that Granny Jenna told us are true.
Good. The shockwaves have ended. Can you make it back to the mining camp on your own?
Wait! Hold on! We were...
Just breathe easy. Relax. Things have settled down already.
Okay. We saw a strange figure while escaping to this place. I've never seen an Archaeosauria in the valley.
Nefereth.
She suddenly disappeared when the barrier showed up. I thought I was seeing things. My gut tells me that she's dangerous.
Don't worry. There's no need to think about this right now. Just return to camp and rest well. We'll handle things from here.
You're my saviors. I believe in you. The road ahead is out. Perhaps we can help you out a bit by using that crane over there.
Good luck out there.
I knew it! Nefereth was the one who left the barrier and all those anchors.
It doesn't matter what she's going to leave behind. We must end her schemes. Let's go, team.
Блядь, издалека ком-то заметил.
Hey! Are you actually the Endman of Enfield? Power is back online, and I have a feeling that you were the ones who fixed it. Meet me at the intersection. I'm using the crane car to clear out the rest of the obstacles.
The road is clear. Let's go, Endman.
Я успею? Протискивается 3 дня на самом деле. Я же буду достойна. Вот пока в этом бегаю.
Tweety Bomb, stay frosty and no slacking.
Пальцы уже все, да. Откусили.
Oh, thank goodness you're all right. I was getting worried about you. The last anchor should be in the logistics area. Go ahead and take a short break. I'll clear the roads for you.
Значит, еще вот это выглядит. Как он там? Повернется, развернется, повернется, развернется, повернется, развернется.
Sterilize this area. Target locked. Pressures are down. Logic yields to none. Frontiers are down. Target locked. Target locked. Fire! Strike smash! FYI, I'm also quite the combat expert.
We can connect Tata to the signal tower and perform another regional scan like we did before.
Почему же, почему?
Once the scan is complete,
Положим,
we'll
я
park
её
Tata at this
если
place.
кому-то нужен спину мне, ты забыла обо мне. Казалось, что пустяк, но это вообще не пустяк. Нет, это не пустяк.
completely unusable. We'll have to rebuild the whole place. Maybe even repave the roads. Stay alert. This hostile poses a significant threat. The entire logistics area has been devastated. Tragic loss. This is the last anchor. Cradle of the Ages.
Ай, блядь.
I wonder what it's like inside right now.
To take down the Angelos inside there, the UWST was forced to detonate the Great Originium Oak. Endman, your top priority is to keep yourself safe, no matter what happens.
Чуть-чуть это.
Chen, I'm counting on you as well.
Leave it to me.
The barrier to the Cradle of the Ages should be gone.
Где здесь?
Let's head back.
Ну, типа там прикольно, что там типа. И, кстати, ну, логично, что эти коридорчики, собака будет, да? Ой, ура! Пойдем-ка ну-ка, ура, давай! Блядь, темно. Сейчас. Ой, ура, выход, ура, А есть тут где-то смотрите? Темно еще. Кажется, ключу. Походу, и вот этот вот выход, он здесь не настоящий. Я не понимаю, тут все мерцает. Ой, испугался.
А зря! Ведь сатана следит за тобой.
Ты что же тут ключу нужно? Конечно, Тори раздождики сезон. Где тебе следит от дождя травы мира, это молния, сыпется во все... Болторез был.
Engaging. Stay safe, team.
I wish you the best of fortune. Efficient operation.
горит что-то. Ура, скоро.
Life no longer threatens the Enfield of today.
Товарищ отец Мартин что-то, блядь. Ой, блядь. Ой, господи. Ой, и чё, если
Careful, that enemy looks really powerful.
This amorphous material is just
All equipment charged and ready.
I wish you the best of fortune.
Such fluid, effervescent glitter. I've always wanted my nails varnished like that. Hair injection.
Рафаэль там стоит, короче. Бедняк, хватит, залял короче. Которая такая, о, испугался, не бойся, друг. Иди ко мне, иди сюда. Какой? Я не знаю, что мне зовут. Товарищ мистер, блядь, вообще в курсе, что, блядь,
Cradle of the Ages. Do we really have an awakened Angelos in that place? We've seen many signs, and they're not exactly good news. Neferith won't deploy those anchors here if she doesn't have a good reason, nevertheless. I think it's better to park Tata here before we figure out what's going on inside. I didn't expect this. The stump of the great oak turned out to be a huge hollowed area. These Originium formations seem incredibly ordered. There is a sense of bizarre beauty to them.
набор только 10 пугающих звуков. Я не понимаю, блядь, я вот здесь вот хожу, тут что-то, блядь, вот это вот. Когда уж там где рассвет, блядь.
Did the anchors weight this big thing? An amalgamation of giant ankyloid remains. Tackle it carefully.
Making a major move! Try to interrupt it!
Commence L7. Annihilate! The color of its halo has changed too. Careful.
What a tough one!
Quick, get to the sapling. It's blasting out shockwaves. Good thing we have the saplings here. Deal with its minions first. They're a pain.
List subject violation.
Incoming. Unknown. Commence L7. Annihilation.
Sanitize the corruption.
Sterilize this area.
List subject violation.
Commence L7. Annihilation.
Efficient output.
Again? It has 3 components, so this should be its final form. Stay alert. Disappeared. How many tricks does it have? How many tricks does it have?
Just violation. Open your eyes.
Пугаю людей, да. Сначала. Еще игра не закрывается, она, короче, у меня зависла на моменте.
Look! A sapling just sprouted from the ground. Look! A sapling just sprouted from the ground. Indeed. Just like the sapling nurtured by Granny Jenner in the camp. Just like the sapling. It sprouted from the heart of this great oak stump. I believe the tree has answered your call, Administrator.
Does that mean the Great Oak lives again? This is like the best thing ever! It's gonna make everyone in camp so happy! It's gonna make everyone in camp so happy!
Меня это бог избери. Что у тебя регион? Что делаешь, спал? Бля, он быстрее. Так хотел, так хотел. Так быстрее.
Thank goodness you impaled and immobilized it, Administrator. All of these Originium formations and the Great Oak itself are responding to the Enderman's command.
That thing we fought. It's probably the Angelos that Jenner and her people kept talking about, right?
Yes. And we're fortunate it wasn't at its peak state. If it had fully awakened, that battle might have turned out differently.
These Originium formations look really natural.
Someone must have excavated this tunnel, but it has been neglected for years. Nearby Originium naturally grew into the empty space.
Да, 140 было для игры. О, как-то я умудряюсь, да? Да, у меня самое максимальное сердцебиение, когда я запущу. Ну, было, ну перенервничаю, не нервничаю, трепаю еще, типа, быстрее.
Finally reached the end of it. Wow. Just look at this place.
Я типа не фанат как жанра, в принципе. То есть есть прикольные какие-то хорроры, которых реально...
According to the earlier records, these formations were probably created during that explosion. It was the only option they had. It left a wound that never healed, even to this day. Simply unimaginable. To think that such resplendent beauty lies beneath the scar.
I guess fate brought everything together.
After all these years, this place has returned to what it looked like before the Originium Oak. No one could have foreseen this. Endman, your past self left a choice here. That past self probably did not realize that, after all these years, the same choice would create a path for us on this day. So yes, fate has indeed brought everything together. But there were times when I felt that everything was just... well, nothing much, I guess. Let's get moving, Endman.
Now, here you are again. Let your heart bleed, and new horizons will unfold. Go. Complete the trial that's yours.
Still waiting for something?
I recognize this feeling.
Интересно, интересно. Вроде было бы здорово, типа, вроде бы. Эти за 8. Что тут, считай, ждать? Ревновать. Вот устрою какой-нибудь аукцион, или скажешь, это там игре какой-нибудь, не знаю, что-нибудь рандомные гости мы назову себе. Что мне такое случайно есть? Не знаю, аниризм. Металлогенезис.
Where's...
Какой-нибудь рандомный еще. Вот у вас Trials. Какой-нибудь что-то еще какая-нибудь игра есть. Которую я не помню. Что она в семье лежит, вот Робокоп. И Байонет.
Ada,
Байонет это
I
прикольно.
really couldn't find any real reason to believe that cousin marriage is overall protective, because sometimes nearby can really mean trapped. And if disputes arise between the family, that doesn't necessarily mean that they prioritize a wife's safety. Honor killings in Pakistan, they're a thing, and they're most commonly committed by a woman's husband or her brother. It's hard, sometimes impossible, to really look at a discrete element of a society and say, how does that affect things overall? Another factor that perpetuates cousin marriage is extreme gender segregation. In rural areas, women are often kept separate from men outside their family altogether. In conservative households, women's entire social world is the family compound. They often can't leave the house unaccompanied. They don't attend mixed-gender schools or work outside the home. Their entire social network consists of relatives. So for some young people, relatives are literally the only opposite-sex people they've ever had a conversation with. You can't marry someone you've never met. And usually, parents control marriage decisions with a near total authority. The vast majority of Pakistani weddings, they're arranged by the family. Even love marriages are usually just family-approved choices between cousins who've developed affection over the years. A 2019 survey found that 82% of Pakistani women reported having no say in choosing their spouse. And the final major factor I'll mention is one that doesn't encourage cousin marriages per se, but it's a requirement for it to continue: a high fertility rate. You need lots of kids and you need lots of cousins. I mean, think about it. If you have 4 siblings who each have 4 kids, that's 16 first cousins for potential marriage partners. Compare that to countries with half the fertility rate of Pakistan, and the math works out to only 2 or 3 first cousins. Pakistani's population doubled from 1990 to 2020, so the cousin pool keeps expanding. But for countries where fertility rate drops, the whole system falls apart. There just aren't enough cousins to go around. That, along with other social changes, explains why cousin marriage rates dropped in countries like Bangladesh and Turkey, despite the same Islamic traditions. Turkey's fertility rate crashed from 4.5 children per woman in 1980 to 1.5 today. Bangladesh saw similar numbers. Aggressive campaigns there saw the rate of educated girls triple since 1990, and fertility rates dropped as they usually do when more women go to school. Economic development and urbanization also increased gender mixing and marriage markets beyond the family. The religion stayed the same, but the structures of their societies changed. Hey, this is a good time to mention, if I've made a real mistake here, yell at me in the comments. I'll address it in a pinned comment and the description box, where you can also find my script and my sources. Okay, so let's look at Islam versus the world and answer the core question. Why is cousin marriage only common in
Хоть на капец брачка вот это. Луну просто опал, вот смотрите. Вот и Луну приколистый. Чё мы все с этим будем делать?
I decided to look a little bit different today. Sorry for the mess in the background, I just realized how bad it is. I'm not gonna clean it up, but I decided to experiment a little bit. Well, not experiment, just try something that I didn't try before. And this is kind of how I usually look. Underneath this jacket, I'm wearing a yellow pastel shirt with a moon, and it's a bit jovial compared to the rest of the look. But I was watching my favorite YouTube channel, one of my favorite YouTube channels, and I got inspired to, do something new with my face and hair. And I do tease my hair, not usually, sometimes. But I have these hair clips that I used when I bleached and dyed my hair. It's a lot more faded out now, but these hair clips are the ones that you use to just pin back your hair to section it, and so I wanted to try something with them to kind of make make this side flat. I was thinking of doing it on the other side too, but I don't know. Just explaining why